Welcome back, everyone. This is Wolfwire Studios with another devlog here again. And this time I have progressed a little bit, but I do need to give you a heads up of the direction I chose to move ahead. So, if you guys remember in the last devlog, I was talking about the type of mannequin I'll be using. So, there was this one path of using the whole Unreal Engine mannequin. Either it's the UE5 skeleton or the UE4 skeleton. And there was this another choice of just using the mannequin without the head and then using the head as a separate mesh. And you can go in both ways. None of them are wrong. It depends upon how bad it is looking or how good it is looking, because the head of the mesh, the head may clip through the camera and you don't want the head clipping through the camera. So and I don't know, somehow I decided to go with the full mesh just to save the hassle of importing, different mesh. And I do have it. I do have a skeletal mesh that has the head cut off and the head is a different static mesh. I do have it, but I decided to go with the full skeleton. And along with that, how much have I progressed since the last devlog? Well, I created a blueprint that I named in a simplest way blueprint Jack, because I want to name my main character as Jack. And if you guys have seen the movie or you have read the book or the articles, you will know that Jack isn't the real name of the protagonist. I mean, he will be my protagonist, but Jack isn't the real name. It's an alibi, so I can safely use Jack. That's for sure. Then I created this game mode file. Sorry, the player controller. I'm sorry. And this player controller will control the user interface and all the interface calls and stuff. So I haven't filled it out yet because there was no need for it. And same is with the game mode file. I've made this game mode for my game, and down the line I have a small secret element for the game that I'll be having here. So I won't be revealing it just yet, but yeah, this game mode file will be very useful when I'll be implementing that small surprise. And so yeah, I mean, it's a single player game. It's not going to be multiplayer, but it will have some sort of a practice element, so to speak. And that game mode file will control all of the rules and regulations and everything. And this is the controller, and this is the animation blueprint, and that's the main blueprint. So let's just quickly brush over the main blueprint. I don't know why UE5 does that. Yeah, that's the main blueprint of Jack or my character. I used the standard third person mesh, as you can see, and then I added a camera and attached it to the head bone of this mesh. And somehow my camera placement is like, fine, and it's not clipping the head or the body. Like, it's looking fine, honestly, right now. I haven't replaced it with the MetaHuman yet, but I hope whenever I'll do it, it will be safe and it will be fine. I created two Boolean variables, is sprinting and is crouching, and I'll be using them here. This is the jump code. I'll be modifying it. It's not looking that great. This is the mouse input. This is the simple movement input. You just move front and you give the value, and this movement input added. And this is the sprint. So what I have done is I took the character movement component, I reduced the max walk speed to 300 and the max walk speed of crouched to 150. And whenever you will press shift, in this case, the sprint key, so the max walk speed is set to 600. And whenever you'll release shift key, it will be set to 300, which is practically fine. Like that's how sprinting and running will be there. And these are the two Boolean variables, as you can see. Set is sprinting true and false, because I want to tell the animation blueprint that I'm sprinting or not. Same is with the crouch. This is the input action crouch. Whenever you'll press the crouch key, in my case it is C, and you'll check that is it crouching. If it is crouching, then we don't want to crouch, and if it is not crouching, then we want to crouch. This is sort of the toggle switch. Down the line, I'll try to implement how I can switch between toggle and hold. I mean, some people might prefer holding the crouch key. I don't know. That's the basics of this movement character. And let's just close it and let's see the animation blueprint here. This is the animation blueprint. As you can see, he's a mesh, he's a character here. This is the basic code, and what I'm doing is at begin play, I'm casting it to my Jack blueprint and I'm saving the reference. But in the next blueprint update animation keyframe, basically this node runs at every tick. Okay, so I don't want to cast to the main character every time. I'll find a alternate for this. I don't want to cast every frame, it can be risky. So what we are doing is we are just casting to the character. and we are obtaining from the pawn its velocity and its rotation, and using that velocity to store the speed, and using that rotation to store the direction. That's all. And then we are checking that is our player valid. If it is valid, then we want to check for jump and crouch, and like you can use is falling for jumping, you can use the is crouching variable for crouch, and is sprinting for sprinting. And this is the state machine locomotion, and it's not perfect, I know, but somehow it's giving me a small issue with respect to crouching and shifting from crouching to running. And it's simple. Let me just show you what's happening here. We have one animation here, one here, and one here. These two have the automatic transition rule, and these have a condition of a variable depending condition, sorry. Crouch walk has its own blend space. This is the crouch blend space that I created, and the idle walk run has its own walking blend space that I created. And this is the simple crouch animation, the idle crouch animation, and that's the whole anim graph, the locomotion state machine, so to speak. So let's just show you quickly the animation blueprint. Where is it? Anims, yeah. This is the normal animation blueprint of movement. As you can see, now it's running. It's running left and right and backwards. Simple. And it's looking decent, honestly. This is the crouch blend space. So you're just idle 0. Now you're moving forward, left, right, backwards. That's all. And now if I play, as you can see, this is the character, and it's not clipping. I'm not clipping through my chest. I can see my neck, but that's just like how the neck is. I'll try to fix it if the clipping happens in MetaHuman. And I know the camera is not moving, like the arms are not moving the way I should be moving. That's because of the aim offset implementation. There is none at the moment, but the main control is working. As you can see in the left debug, you can see the value of the speed, the blue one, and it's 300 now. 300 is my walk speed. As you can see, the legs are moving and the player is looking fine. Now if I press shift, I can run. Animation changes, as you can see. Yes, now the neck is clipping, so I'll have to fix that. And I can jump, as you can see. There's this jump animation. And yeah, that's all. I can just run, I can jump, the legs will float, and yeah, the way it should be. I can crouch, I can press C, and I can crouch, I can walk, and that's all. Now, as you can see, the speed is 300. It should be 150. So there is some problem in the code. I'll fix it down the line, but that's just to show you guys that I have implemented something right. And I can just move faster and crouch. That's again a bug that I'll have to fix. And I can press C again to enable crouch and disable crouch. And yeah, that's all. This is the gun. I was just looking at it, so I placed it here in the open area, and it's looking honestly fine. That's the smaller size of the gun near to a mannequin, just to show you guys how it is looking. Yeah, that's all. Anyways, that's all, guys. That's all. It's just a short one, and there hasn't been much to it. It's just the controller was being set up by me for the player, and yeah, that's all. In the next video, I hope I'll have all of these issues fixed, ironed out, and I guess I'll have the shooting mechanic and the gun in my hand along with aim offsets. So yeah, that's all. Yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and see you in the next one. Like, subscribe, stick around for more, and yeah, cheers.